Humble beginnings in BCM, a tale to behold. While many in the subject were gearing ready for what was to come and already planning their experiments, we were left stunned to where the remainder of our group was. That was the first couple of weeks for us. Just 3 people left to decide what to do. Not enough manpower to keep a project running smoothly, not enough to know or understand what the equipment was in front of us, and not enough courage to get in front of the camera and apply ourselves. Now that is out of the way, I want to tell you how great we are. Take One Media, in my opinion, was producing some of the best content within the classroom. And all that started with proper communication and an alignment of visions. After the tragic betrayal of Serena, we welcomed Nikolai to the group, whose position in the turret was instrumental in requiring an individual we needed for our next experiment. In week 4, as part of our tutorial, we were able to begin to unravel what we all looked for in the group. We labelled some goals and attributes that we wanted to represent, notably building on our past failure of week 3 and being more adaptable, which to me felt like the most important ones going into the next experiment. With our group finalised, we felt it was worth changing our method for communication. We had originally been utilising the Discord, however, to many, notably Amelia and Lynn, they were unfamiliar with the app. As such, we had moved communications to an Instagroup chat, and only using Discord for the segment brief handoff. This Instagroup chat came in great handiness, considering the brief online period of brainstorming we had to go through due to the Easter break. The result of this revitalised group was a shared vision, where everyone was willing to poke a foot out and contribute to the project as a whole. A period of great ideas from everyone, and a great sense of participation. In terms of my participation, I felt I put myself out there in the group as someone with big ideas and someone willing to be in front of the camera. Aside from the last experiment, where a family emergency prevented my participation in the filming phase, I was one of the first members along with Benji and Emma. I'd seen us at our lowest, and I saw us thrive. I contributed to being the interviewer in the week 5 experiment. I also did the segment brief for week 5 segment. And I also suggested that the students rather be a team against Aaron than individuals competing for themselves. All in all, I wouldn't change much about my team. Potentially, we could look more thoroughly into the communication phase. There were some hiccups on what tasks need to be completed at certain stages and by who. And at times, our out-of-uni experiences put a dent in major progress, so potentially looking to aligning our schedules out of class for brainstorming could be a good call. Overall, I couldn't be happier about the faces I see within Take 1. Let's get week 3 out of the way. We were in no way ready for this lesson, and as a result, we felt our week 3 experiment was not up to par with everyone else's. The idea was a movie review segment, disguised as a group of friends going over movies on a TV and talking about the films they liked and disliked for a movie night. It was an improvised script. We felt as though the genuineness would make the review more organic. Ultimately, though, it ended up being worse for wear, as points weren't being made correctly, there was no cohesion between any of us, we had no back-end graphics to back up our points or add necessary context, and overall, I think all 3 of us were just hoping that the cameras would switch off and move on. I briefly mentioned this experiment at the beginning, and thankfully this will probably be the last time I have to mention it. Week 5 represented a massive 180 in terms of our quality in the experiments. Having a full 5-man team on standby at the ready really enabled our vision to come into fruition, due to the fact that both actors, cameras, and studio operators all had aligned goals and an idea of what our project should look like. To say the least, we had tremendously upgraded from our last experiment. Our experiment was an interview for the Turret magazine. Our goal was to create the same sort of vibe as like a late night show such as Conan or Jimmy Fallon. In it, we had both proper cuts to individuals talking, the narrow actor pool allowed us to be less kerfuffle around who was talking, and we even had an integrated script which myself could read off of, and screen elements that assisted in informing our audience and assisting with what content was being spoken about. But above all, the star was Gus. His ability to express his position and purpose of the turret in a fun and confident way immediately catapulted the prestige of the experiment to the max. Interviewing Gus was great, and I was incredibly surprised by how built for the camera he was. Our final experiment was our Teacher vs. Students game show. Admittedly, I would prefer to do the performance segment, but I had my words about expressing an original formative idea, especially when it was not necessarily one I didn't want to do, and one that I didn't want to bite the bullet of it flopping and embarrassing ourselves. I was not present for this experiment, due to my mother needing help at home due to her ankle. As such, I can only comment on this project through a planning standpoint and with what I can garner from the video. The planning process was extensive for this one. The first experiment was kind of a first draft idea, and the second one was Nikolai presented us with an opportunity that was just too good to pass up. A lot of ideas were on the table for this project, from a Saw-like game show to performance based on ghosts to guessing landmarks in Wollongong from the past. Ultimately, we went with the Teacher vs. Student game show, since compared to the other participation experiments in the show, it was one we really felt did something different with the formula. In terms of performance on the day, I'm happy to say that the guys knocked it out of the park. Going into the future, there is so much for us to explore and build upon. One of the many ideas we had going forward was building upon our Week 5 segment, and that would include getting more people from the TERT to voice their opinions and their role within the organisation, build upon our Week 5 assignment, and create something that reflects everyone in the TERT. Above all, though, I believe in the coming weeks will be all about maintaining our headspace and looking to lock in after the mid-semester break. So much work to do in the coming to the final assessment, so I believe that it's important we look to not get complicit. I'm looking forward to see how this all pans out. Thank you.